From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, August the 21st, 2024. An Israeli man was injured this morning when a rocket hit his home in the northern city of Katzrin in the Golan Heights. This was during a barrage of over 50 rockets fired by terror group Hezbollah at the area this morning. Some of the rockets were intercepted, the IDF said, but others did make impact, causing the injury, apparently from shrapnel, as well as damage to several homes in the community. The barrage today follows a barrage of some 115 rockets fired yesterday by Hezbollah at northern Israel. Several explosive-laden drones were also launched at northern Israel today. The IDF said some were intercepted, others fell in open areas. There were no injuries there. Last night, the IDF eliminated an official of the Palestinian political party Fatah in Lebanon, who the IDF said was operating on behalf of the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The IDF said he and his brother were involved in the direction of terrorist attacks, as well as the smuggling of weapons and funds designated for terrorist activities into Judea and Samaria, the West Bank. The IDF saying it will continue to take action to monitor and thwart activity that endangers the safety of the State of Israel and its civilians, to expose and disable Iranian attempts to carry out terrorist activity against the State of Israel. And today, the IDF said it carried out an airstrike against Hamas terrorists who were using a school in Gaza City as a command and control complex, a hideout, and a base to plan and execute attacks against IDF troops and the State of Israel. Israel's Air Force, it said, conducted a precise strike on the terrorists, saying prior to the strike, numerous steps were taken to mitigate the risk of harming civilians, including the use of precise munitions, aerial surveillance, and additional intelligence. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken held meetings in Qatar yesterday to try and get the ceasefire hostage release agreement, including the recently introduced U.S. bridging proposal to close the gaps that remain in the agreement, finalized. Blinken, who was in Israel and Egypt earlier this week, said last night from Doha, Israel has now accepted that proposal, referring to the U.S. bridging proposal. I heard that directly from Prime Minister Netanyahu yesterday, he said, and we hope and expect that Hamas will do the same. Blinken said that's the critical next step. He said the United States was engaged every single day with Israel, and he said our Qatari and Egyptian partners are engaged with Hamas. And over the coming days, we are going to do everything possible to, one, get Hamas on board with the bridging proposal, and then to make sure that both parties work on and agree to necessary details of implementation that would allow everything to go forward. Blinken saying this needs to get done, and it needs to get done in the days ahead. And we will do everything possible to get it across the finish line. Violent protests took place last night in front of the Consulate of Israel in Chicago, where the Democratic National Convention is taking place. The Midwest office of the Anti-Defamation League wrote that anti-Israel protesters physically confronted police, burned American and Israeli flags, and explicitly promoted Hamas and the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. They also noted that separately, several others held a banner promoting the Great Replacement theory and a white supremacist network. Israel's consulate in Chicago released a statement saying, "We are appalled to see violence during the protest in front of our offices. This is anything but peaceful and completely contradictory to the spirit of the DNC. This vocal minority does not represent the vast bipartisan majority of Americans who stand strong in support of Israel." Also noting many Americans countering this hate in front of our office, the consulate said, echoing the strong bond between America and Israel, and expressing gratitude to law enforcement for their work protecting the city. A German court yesterday upheld a conviction of a former secretary at a concentration camp during the Holocaust. The AP reports the Federal Court of Justice rejected an appeal by Irmgard Furkner, who is now 99 years old, over the 2-year suspended sentence she was given back in December of 2022 for being an accessory to more than 10,000 murders at the Stutthof concentration camp, saying that she was part of the apparatus that let the camp function. President of the Central Council of Jews in Germany, Dr. Joseph Schuster, was cited as saying it is not about putting her behind bars for the rest of her life. It is about a perpetrator having to answer for her actions and acknowledge what happened and what she was involved in. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, August the 21st. At 7 o'clock, David Harris is joined by Shabbos Kestenbaum to discuss his lawsuit against Harvard and its alleged failure to protect Jewish students from discrimination. At 7:30, Nathan Silver talks about his new film, Between the Temples. At 8, Jewish singer-songwriter Noah Aronson performs an evening of original music exclusively for JBS. At 9, Neshama Carlbach is on L'chaim. At 10, actress Tova Feldshuh shares her memoir, Lilyville, Mother, Daughter, and Other Roles I've Played. At 10:30, an encore of the news, and coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, August the 21st, 2024. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.